be bridle trails all through this museum. And many years ago, I used to ride the bridle trails. And then the housing development took place between the stables over on Shoe Lane and the museum, which blocked the equestrian access to the bridle trail. So I had to move my horses to a more rural area. But when the weather was bad and the ground was frozen and I couldn't ride across the river, I came up here and began to walk the trails that once I rode. And I very seldom saw people on the trails. I was mostly by myself. And it occurred to me what a wonderful thing it would be if more people knew the trails were here, it were made more accessible, that other people like I would enjoy them too. And so I made that suggestion to my friend Tom Downing a good many years ago, and finally this is what's resulted.
Welcome to a great day in the Mariners Museum Park and in the history of this institution. We're here this morning to dedicate the Noland Trail, take an inaugural walk, and to celebrate the park.
Indeed, today is a remarkable day in the history of this great museum. Today we are dedicating a beautiful 5.2-mile trail walk that winds around this 600-acre park and crosses over the fringes of Lake Maury. The trail will be forever known as the Noland Trail. It all started 5 or 6 years ago. It doesn't seem that long now. When my dear friend Noland, in a casual conversation with me, said that the Noland family would like to leave a meaningful legacy, not only to the museum, but most importantly, to the people of Tidewater, Virginia. He said that he loved to walk around the museum park, using some of the old horse trails that survived the time and non-use. He said he believed that there were other people, many other people, who shared with him the joy of walking in the woods, and that they too would enjoy this if it were available and if it were possible. He said, I would like to make this available and possible for them. He envisioned beautiful walkable trails with rustic bridges crossing the fingers of the lake so that a complete circuit of the lake could be obtained. He stressed the importance of preserving the natural ambience of this beautiful park and to do nothing that would be detrimental to the ecology. And now, after years of planning, the trail is open to everyone and anyone who appreciates the glories of nature and the wonders of God. The museum expresses its most sincere gratitude to the Noland family for this great honor, which will surely enhance its reputation in the international community of museums. Without a doubt, it is the largest and most significant contribution to this museum since it was created in 1933 by Mr. Archer M. Huntington. And now, if I may be a little presumptive, I would like to speak on behalf of the thousands of people who will enjoy these trails in the days and years to come. On their behalf, I say to the Noland Foundation, thank you for this. We will not forget. Thank you.
During the last few years, the Mariners Museum has built a new entrance, new galleries, and a new image. As those improvements were brought to completion, the museum planners focused on the surrounding land and on the lake. Coupled with Mr. Noland's vision, a new plan was developed to build a pedestrian trail that would circle the lake. What would that design be? What would the criteria for that design be? To preserve the land, to allow for more people, to allow for the future, to protect the lake and its headwaters, to see the lake but not always see it, to enjoy the woods but to protect them, to make it all work for safety and for maintenance. As we have built it, the trail itself is just over 5 miles. We have built 14 bridges, the longest being about 420 feet. We have some short ones too. The bridges bypass the wetlands and the animal habitats, but they also create new ways of experiencing the lake. We put in directional signs to help you find your way. And we've made 3 major overlooks to harness the vistas. We have mile markers. They're there to define distances, to help with safety and rescue, and to assist in maintenance, but also to give the hiker a reference. Sometimes the trail hugs the uplands, sometimes the trail follows the lake. The views are orchestrated for you, but the theme is always protection of the lake and the land. The trail surfaces are natural to blend in. The trail is new now, but will soften with time. The trees will arch over the trail, and in the spring, the wildflowers will deckle the edges. I have developed a special affection for this project over the last couple of years as I have walked the lake many times with Mr. Noland, in the hot days and in the snow. Thank you, Mr. Noland, for your dream, and thank you for promoting sensitive design for our environment. As our natural world shrinks, we must tread lightly on this land. What the Noland family has given us is a trail, but more importantly, it is a way of understanding and appreciating our life. It will soon be yours, your trail to love and to protect. Thank you.
And certainly a very gracious and wonderful gesture by the Noland family to provide this community, not just Newport News, but the entire peninsula and many of its tourist guests, with one more opportunity to enjoy nature and to see how you can develop land, and you can have people living around that land, and all can enjoy it, because it's a very important part of everyone's well-being and everyone's quality of life. I want to again commend the Noland family for such a generous gift, and I can assure you that there are many folks who will understand this many, many years from now, because this is something you can enjoy forever.
Over the years, whether the leaves were sparkling from the sun, dripping with rain, or whether there were no leaves at all and the trees stood bare like sentinels protecting creation until spring returned, my family and I have found the paths in the museum park to be a source of great beauty, serenity, and pleasure, not to mention exercise. Poet Carly Wilson Baker expressed our feelings very well when she wrote, "Today I have grown taller walking with the trees. Our only thought has been, and our only hope is, that our fellow citizens and those that follow us, together with their guests, will find on the Noland Trail that same enjoyment and serenity which we have found on the earlier trails of the past. Thanks to the genius, the dedication, and hard work on the part of Carlton Abbott, John Knupp, and a whole host of others, we all can now better appreciate and enjoy the wonders of nature that abound in the Mariners Museum Park. Thank you very much."
You have here a granite marker which is created by Carlton Abbott. It says the Noland Trail. It has the quotation, "Today I have grown taller from walking among the trees," that Mr. Noland just read to you. The inscription, a gift from the Noland family to the Mariners Museum, and the date, October 1991. They have the museum.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, on behalf of the Mariners Museum and the Noland Memorial Foundation, it is my privilege and pleasure to invite you to join us on the inaugural walk of the Noland Trail. Even my friend Tom Downing, is going to walk with us today.
Downhill.
And for somebody who every morning goes out of his front door, gets in his car, and drives a relatively few feet to the end of his driveway to pick up his morning paper, this is a watershed event. An informal part of the deal between the foundation and the museum was that the good Lord willing, Tom Downing would walk with me on the inaugural walk, at least on a portion of it. I must observe that what with his total dislike for any kind of exercise, that his participation today exemplifies a sense of responsibility, loyalty, and dedication that have always characterized the guy.
Maybe my last walk.
I would like to provide some ground rules about today's walk. First, while I'm not qualified to give medical advice, it seems to me that only persons in reasonably good health and reasonably fit would want to undertake the entire 5 miles. In other words, it would be a great mistake for anyone to look at Downing and conclude that if Downing can do it, he can do it too.
And fun, This is his day.
Come on, Downing!
Come on, sit there. Come on. You really had your day today. Don't step on the knee.
The trail adds what I would consider to be a unifying element of the nature in this park. It also adds a platform, if you will, from which we can begin to conduct other ecological and environmental programs and be able to begin to identify the things in our woods for the people who come through.
I am personally grateful to him for what he has done. It's a wonderful, wonderful thing, and I think people are going to realize when they walk through here what a gorgeous path this is and how much they can enjoy it. I think that some of Mrs. Huntington's, I say Mrs. Huntington's, I should say both Archer Huntington and his wife Anna, I think their wishes are being fulfilled today. The park meant a great deal to Mrs. Huntington.
I think it's very timely for America because you know we're searching for ways to understand how we're going to live the rest of our lives on this planet. You know, this kind of preservation effort and sort of light recreational use is so important. I mean, it really gets to the heart of what we need. You know, we need to get out from behind the television sets and get walking in the woods. I mean, you know, look at what it does for your health and what it means. That's right, your sense of well-being. And wow, that's a way to do it. I mean, really, and Mr. Noland's been doing it himself for years. I mean, he does it. And we'd discover him on the trail. Some days we'd be out there surveying, you know, and there'd be Mr. Noland. Or some days he would see me, and I wouldn't know that he was there, you know, somewhere. And he would let me know that, well, I saw you on the trail yesterday. And I said, well, I didn't see him, but, you know, he was there. Which is great, but his heart was with it. I mean, it was not something he just, you know, wrote a check for or his family did. It's something that came from his heart, you know. He's in love with that place. So it's going to be up to us all to take care of it, you know. If we did this all over America, we'd be doing the right kind of thing. You know, it's great for our priorities, really great.